Welcome to World Chef Podcast. I'm your host, Ragnar Fridriksson, and you're listening to World on a Plate. Now, how do we attract and retain talent in our industry? During COVID, we saw a lot of people leaving for other professions and many are not coming back. So question, why are young people staying away from the culinary industry? And why do they leave? What can we do? So leaders in the industry to create a career path for young people in our industry. I've got with me here Alan Orreal, who is the chairman of the Worldchefs Young Chefs Development Group. So welcome, Alan. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you, Ragnar. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I'm so happy to see you. And I know you've been changing habitations and you're calling us from the Bahamas, right?
Yes, I'm in the beautiful Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas, and I've been here about 5 months now. Very exciting times.
Hey, Alan, you're a great role model, and you've been working a long time with the young chefs. And so you recently came to the Bahamas, and a lot of people are listening to us. They know you, and they might not know that you left. And so you were in Asia for a long time. And I was just saying that mentioning the importance to show to show young people there is a career path in hospitality, and so to show people they can aspire to. Why don't you tell us a little bit to our young listeners out there, a little bit about yourself? Why did you become a chef, and what was your path to now being in the Bahamas executive chef of the Atlantis?
Yeah, I never could have imagined that I would be here at the beginning. Absolutely, because it's just such a grand resort and on a massive scale. So as a young cook, before I even got started, I wanted to become a chef very early on. I was 8 years old on Christmas Day when I decided. And it was because my family was cooking Christmas lunch, and I realized that food brought people together. And so I wanted to become a chef for that very reason, to bring people together, to enjoy, to have fun, and to enjoy food. So then, I went through high school and then finished my did an apprenticeship, and a very traditional one, 4 years with some college. And then I moved to Asia 36 years later.
From Australia, right? You're
Yes.
Australian.
Yeah, I'm an Aussie. Yeah. And so moved from Australia to Asia, and then I spent some time there and just forgot to go home. My career just took off, and I really enjoyed being in Asia a long time. And there were some hard times. I made some good moves, some bad moves, but you learn from all of those. But I think the main message is if you want to be successful in this industry, you have to persist, and you have to work through the tough times. And I don't think there's any tougher time than there might be right now. COVID has really thrown the gauntlet at everybody. And to get through it, I think you really must have a very driven ideal of what you want to do. And you got to stick with it. The other thing I would say that is really important is to have good mentorship. I was very fortunate to have people like Otto Weibel and John Sloan and others support me throughout my career in Asia, and help me to grow from a cook to a head chef, an executive chef, and so on, and led me to different opportunities that I never could have imagined. I worked for Singapore Airlines in business and first class development. Then I moved on and ended up working for Universal. John Sloan asked me to come and work for him again. And we opened Resort World Sentosa. And then Disney asked me to come to Shanghai, and we opened the Disney Resort there. So I've worked in large operations for the last 20 odd years, but it took 20 years to get there. So it's been a long journey, but it's really about dogged determination, and having good mentors, and listening to them, and being able to be flexible. I think all of those things are critical. And your question is, why are young people not staying in the industry today? I think it does have a lot to do with COVID and the pressures of it, because it made the industry for the first time seem unstable. Because restaurants were closing, and governments all over the world were closing them, and it became very hard for a lot of people. They have to have an income, particularly young people. They often have young families, and so it became very, very stressful and difficult for them. But I can tell you that the industry is rebounding. We're seeing growth right across the industry, and it's coming back. I think that this time of having to close restaurants is over. Governments are realizing that we have to learn to live with it. And fortunately, touch wood, it's been milder in recent months. And so we hope that that'll continue. But it's really about dogged determination.
Yeah, no, yeah, like before digging into like, yeah, why there is the lack of skilled workers in our industry and how to attract. I think it's actually just hearing your story. It's I think hospitality is an amazing industry where there's a huge there's a potential for personal growth and fast career development for people that are passionate, and often people who end up in our industry are certain type of people that, as you said, there is a personal calling. You saw that family context where, wow, the power of sharing and giving of yourself, food to others, that is something special. And so there's this personal calling, but definitely I think young people that have that, that hospitality feeling or that, that sharing feeling, that they should be assured that hospitality industry was the highest growing industry in the world before COVID, and now is just growing massively. This is the first thing people want to do after COVID is let's go to a restaurant, let's go traveling, let's make up for lost time. So there's a lot of opportunities out there.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Here in the Bahamas, for example, our hotels at full occupancy for the next few weeks coming up, and it's a really exciting time, and it is the traditional time where the resort gets busy, but it's really, really busy, which is great. Today, the largest cruise ship in the world will dock here, and so that's exciting for that to happen, and to see the cruise industry coming back is very exciting for us and for the industry at large. Yeah. But we desperately need people.
Yeah, and so that's like back to our problematic here. So does our industry have an image problem? Why is that?
I think most definitely because we don't work collectively to improve it. Yeah. and so what happens is that people just see it from the outside and go, oh, they're very unstable, the business closes, and I don't have a clear career path. But I think industry by and large needs to do better at telling people the story of their career. And how they can grow. Here, for example, we do our Back to Basics training program for anyone joining the culinary. And what that does is that it allows them to have an 8-week training program, which basically gives them all the foundational skills that they're going to need, and they know that the person standing next to them also has those skills because everyone goes through it. And then they also know that there's a clear path to becoming a commerce cook and then a chef de partie and so on. And so we create a career ladder with opportunities throughout that career ladder for them to be able to see measurable outcomes that they can reach out for and goals that they can strive for. And I think that that's really critical. And a lot of industry players don't spend enough time focusing on this part, enabling people understand and enabling them to understand that they're enabled and for them to be able to move forward. And I think industry by and large needs to do better at that.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes I think in the hospitality, leaders take the workers for granted, as they're just something disposable. And the industry has invested a lot in technology and marketing and sales tools, but have they really invested in people? And that is maybe what we need to address as an industry, and like you say, with the training, with the making the skills more visible.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. I think obviously, the greatest asset is the people who are making it happen, and they're the ones who meet the guests daily. And so, if that's not your biggest asset, I think your focus is wrong. And so you have to provide training for these people. And I couldn't agree more. And training has to be the #1 talked about subject amongst peers. And yet it's not. You're right. We spend far too much time in marketing meetings and HR meetings and other things, and not enough time in training. We're trying to shift that here, where we're shifting our DNA and making those things happen. As you know, I'm a big supporter of the training program that Worldchefs and City and Guilds has. And that kind of certification is really critical to industry. I firmly believe this. And we've seen it. We've seen the fruits of it. We've seen people be able to move from chef de partie to sous chef, be able to take it overseas and take that qualification, and then get more experience abroad and then bring it back. And that's what it's for. We want our people to be global. We want chefs to have an understanding of cuisine across the world. And this is a great first step to have an international certification that allows you, to move and to share your knowledge and be recognized.
Absolutely, yeah, and being recognized is really a key issue here. Recognizing people's skills, that you get recognized for all the hard work, the skills that you have acquired, your whole sort of career, your blood, sweat, and tears. That is actually put into practice. That you're recognized as your position in the company, on the salary level as well. Your whole family situation is adapted to what you are bringing to the company.
Yeah, and I think that is an ideal situation. But as you and I know, it's a fledgling thing right now, and it needs to grow. And so I think what we hear from a lot of young people amongst the development team for young chefs at Worldchefs, what we hear through our young chef clubs and from the young people is that, yes, this is all very well and good for us to say this and to create these certifications, but our industry embracing it. Because we still don't see, our path. And I think that young people tend to get quite misled, thinking that they can become a sous chef in 3 or 4 years, and yes, they may be able to, but they're probably not going to be successful because they're not going to have the foundation that they need in order to get there, really, and to deliver the skills and the requirements as a leader, because that all takes time, and it takes maturity, and it takes experience. We don't send you to college to become a sous chef. We send you to college to become a cook, and then we tend to leave you and don't give you the skills to become a leader. So it's about building those skills through these certifications and also practicing them within industry. So there is a proper time frame for people to move from cook to chef de partie to sous chef, and I think a reality check needs to happen for young people as well. But it's not necessarily their fault. I think they get a lot of false information.
Yeah. And you're mentioning, as a chairman of the Young Chef Development Group, you are talking with a lot of insight into, what young people are experiencing today. And just before we go there, just to remind everybody, you'll be joining us at the Worldchefs Congress in Abu Dhabi on the 30th of May to 2nd of June this year. So four days of excitement. And what is so special, what happens at the Congress, apart from all the old farts, mind my language, we have the Billy Gallagher Young Chef Forum. And you will be running the Billy Gallagher Young Chef Forum. And just before you tell us a little bit more, what is so amazing with the Young Chef Forum is that we are probably a rare organization to organize these sort of congresses where we put the young chef in the front. And so we give them a special program. The most fun part of the program is for the young chefs at a lower cost, because really this is, since you've been with the organization, and this has been our wish, is to really get our young chefs involved. And so we are creating the future leaders of our industry. So Alan, can you tell us a little bit more about what you're planning for the Young Chef Forum, and who is it for, and why is it so important for young chefs to be there?
Yeah, thanks, Ragnar. I mean, the Congress is always something that all the chefs look forward to, but in particular for me and my team, the Young Chef Forum is critical. The Billy Gallagher Young Chef Forum this year will be in its 20th year. We're very excited that it's happening and that we're all able to come and meet. Under 25s is what the target age group is, but we welcome everybody to come and have a look and interact with our young people. But really the intent is to have young chefs at the Congress sessions to understand what Congress is about. We want them to see all the beneficial educational programs that are going to be there. But there's also dedicated sessions just for young people. Nestle is a major sponsor for us, and they create a lounge for us to be in. Within those lunch periods and other areas, we'll have senior chefs come and talk one-on-one with the young chefs. So they're going to get major exposure. Even before the Congress starts, we have an icebreaker event for the young chefs to meet one another. And so that'll be on the 29th, and it'll be held at the Nestle Lounge within the Congress Hall. And then and that's on the arrival day. So it's a place to meet and greet, and for everyone to get to know each other. We're expecting somewhere between 50 and 60 young chefs this year from across the world to come and visit us. And for all those presidents listening around the world today, please bring your young chefs with you. We hope that each and every one of you brings at least one. We'd love to see them all because it's such a great experience for young people. And it's only 690 euros for the whole forum, including all the meals, completely open to all the Congress events, and very exciting. But the other parts are the fact that the young chefs will have their own program. They'll be able to go visit the old market. They'll be going to the souk. They're going to go to a date farm. We hope that we'll be able to get inside the palace kitchens or a major kitchen space where we would otherwise not be able to go into, to see how the palace kitchens operate, or even into the Air Force or Army kitchens, to see the major operations in those spaces, and to see the massive catering that goes on there. Also, we're going to have people come and talk to us. We're going to go to the Earth Hotel, which is the former Army Forces Club, to see the kitchens and to understand how they operate. So very, very exciting operations. And we're going to do some hands-on things together and do some cooking. And of course, taste the Emirati cuisine, and see Abu Dhabi, which is an incredible city, such a beautiful city also. Can't wait to be there again.
Absolutely. And no, it's such a great opportunity for the young chefs. And you made a good point there, because it's been tough times in industry, people being unemployed or leaving industry, and especially the young people are the first one to get hit. So our old guys listening out there, you know, from the associations, the presidents, sure, bring yourself, bring your key team, but don't forget to bring somebody from your young chef development, any from the young chef. It's so important for them. And then you're also building the future of your own association, the future leader of your own association. So don't forget that. And same to the schools. You know, we have a network of culinary schools around the world now, and this could be a great opportunity for our deans, the directors of our culinary schools, is to have this incentive for a meriting student to experience the Worldchefs Congress, and they can make a difference in their future. I know examples of, you know, when they meet, when they network, they get together, that can sometimes create job opportunities and friendship for life. So.
And it does, it absolutely does. And there's no question that it creates friendships for life. But let's not forget also, you know, you've got the Global Chef competition, the whole expo that's going to be going on in terms of the food show. There's just so much to see at this Congress, more than any other, I think, in terms of the scale and the excitement that's going to be happening. And of course, it's such an amazing place in terms of diversity. For cultural difference from where you might be living, whether it's in Asia or the West, and you get to come to the Emirates to see the Emiratis and understand the culture there and the food culture, which is just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so we're coming to the Congress, and then basically we're going to have some discussions there, panel discussions, and we're going to talk to the employers and with the the key players in industry, or from education, employment, and government policies there. We're going to talk about how to attract and retain talent in our industry. And we're going to have some young people there as well, young chefs, to explain their experience of, what do they want when they come into industry? What are their fear? We mentioned earlier, leadership problem. What is your sense? Is it different to be a leader in hospitality today than when you started, like when you your first leadership role 10, 15 years ago? How is that changed? And we're talking about mental health, talking about, how do young people feel in our industry today?
Well, certainly when I was first a leader many years ago, we didn't talk about mental health. We didn't talk about pressures. We didn't talk about even the fact that chefs were so ill prepared to lead people because they didn't have those skill sets. We didn't talk about any of that. And today it's center of the plate, so to speak, in our mindset, that we're thinking about young people's mental health. We're thinking about the work-life balance. We're thinking about how to communicate better with our people, conflict resolution, you name it. We're thinking about all those soft skills that the industry didn't really purvey, certainly not from a kitchen perspective. But today it's a very different kettle of fish. And And I think that that's very important to recognize, because young people also have a different expectation of the industry today than what they had before. And when I was a young apprentice, we were just told, work hard and it will come. And that was true at that time. It was, you worked hard, you took some chances, you listened to people, and hopefully you made some good decisions, and you can end up as a good leader. And keep re-educating yourself. That would be the other thing that we did. But today, young people are expecting to get on an elevator and go straight to the top floor. And they really need to understand that it's a journey, it's a career-long journey, and that they have to spend the time gaining the skills in order to be a leader in the industry today, with marketing skills and business acumen, so much more so than when I was a young leader. It's a different world, and they have a higher expectation as well of what industry should be delivering to them in terms of the education that they need. Because I think the young people are very savvy, and they know what they need to get there. But industry, I think, it needs to deliver much better than they are today to these young people in order for them to be successful.
Yeah. I mean, these are the things that we're going to be touching base on at the Congress, and we're going to get a lot of industry experts and insight into these questions. And another one that pops to mind is, with all the changes we've seen in industry is education. And the people that are supposed to attract the young talent and supply the skills for our industry. Is education is also going through a turmoil, is going through a changing period, and what has changed for you working with the schools? Are they delivering to you as a leader, as an employer, as a trainer? Are they delivering to you what you need, or should they be thinking differently as well?
I think this is a very long-term problem happening right across the world, where governments who owned or operated schools were moving away from traditional apprenticeships of 4 years, trying to shorten gaps so they can increase volume of people within the industry. And that started about 25 years ago and continues today. But it's a pervasive problem because it doesn't supply the young chefs who are coming into industry as qualified cooks with enough foundation that they really need. So industry has to then spend more time, hospitality in particular has to spend more time retraining people or giving them the skills that they would have had in the past. And I think that that's recognized by schools today, particularly private culinary schools and hospitality schools. They're doing a far better job at delivering and bringing those skill sets back to industry, but they're doing it in quick, fast fashion. And they're trying to churn people through the schools. I think I'm a traditionalist, I'm afraid, and I still believe in a long-term apprenticeship program. And I think we have to return to this. And I think both industries, schools, and cooks alike, they all recognize that is the case, and we should be returning to traditional apprenticeships and training programs. So to answer your question, I think that they recognize it. And some schools are doing some things about it, but others are not still. And industry has to pay the price of re-educating people.
Yeah. That's really interesting insight. And these are the things that we'll be touching base on at the Congress. Together with all the young chef development, we're going to have panel discussion on what we mentioned, attracting and retaining talent, and another one on the chefs rising together and what they are looking for in their industry, in their career development, but also on the future of education. And the future of education, really, it's also a big issue because this is where the people will enter into the industry in the first place. And so I think it's very important that we all are working together from the employer side, the education side. And then I think associations such as us, we play a role in being
absolutely.
payer of ideas.
I'm really looking forward to the forum and being on stage with some young chefs and hearing what they believe.
Absolutely.
I think that they're very nervous about their future, but let's see what they actually have to say on the day. So don't miss it. Make sure you're coming to Congress this year. And really, the young chefs out there, come to the Billy Gallagher Young Chef Forum. Everybody's welcome. We look forward to seeing you there for sure.
Thank you, Alan. So that was great last words. And I think everybody is now looking up worldchefs.org, worldchefcongress.com. Book your ticket, book your flights. It's all out there waiting for you. And we'll come together as an industry under our slogan, Rise Together, as a message of hope and unity for the industry. And it's going to be really important that you all chefs out there are there and rising together with us. So Alan, thank you again. I'm looking forward to see you, my friend.
Such a pleasure, Ragnar. Thank you.
And everybody, thank you for listening in. You're listening to Worldchefs podcast. I'm your host, Ragnar Fredriksson, talking to Alan Orreal with us here from the Young Chef Development Group. And I'm looking forward to see you all at the Worldchefs Congress in Abu Dhabi this year. Don't miss that. And in the meantime, stay safe and stay healthy. And thank you all for listening in. Take care. Bye-bye.